Honda's been teaming up with an insane amount of companies lately to make sure that they're going to survive this EV transition. And we're going to talk about all these partnerships, but there's one new partnership that I was not expecting. Yes, Honda is teaming up with Yamaha. If you guys like that idea, hit the like button. I have a Yamaha and a Honda motorcycle in the garage right now, actually two Hondas, but I have an SCL press bike. Make sure to check out my riding on-road and off-road impressions on the SCL 500. Make sure to, and also check out my MT-09 Yamaha motorbike driving impressions as well. I love those two companies working together here. Now, before I get into the details with Honda and Yamaha and what they're doing together, it's kind of a surprise because Yamaha, they're a company that typically works with Toyota or Subaru. Why? Well, Toyota's little brothers, there's a few of them. There's Suzuki, Mazda, there is Subaru, there is Yamaha. Toyota has stake of varying degrees in all those companies. They're under Toyota's wing. But here they are working with Honda. What can Honda bring to the table that Toyota can't? Well, it's expertise in motorcycles. Don't get too excited here. We might see some evidence of Honda and Yamaha working together. What would you call it? Honda? Yamanda is what Yamahonda. Maybe that's probably the best one. Yamahonda. Anyways, they're working together to supply electric motorcycles to the OEM market. Now, this is only for the Japanese market for now, and this is going to include an electric two-wheeled scooter called the EM1E. Honda's naming for their international electric vehicles lately has been terrible. This one is better. The Bentley E1 or EI. They're both classified as Class 1 mopeds. The two companies will now proceed with deliberations aimed at concluding a contract. Why is this happening? Well, if you go back not that long ago, it's just a few months back, Honda and other Japanese motorbike makers, they're killing off their 50cc motorbike class, which is legendary for the Super Cub 50cc from Honda anyways. But since e-bikes are so affordable and they pretty much do everything a 50cc motorcycle can, that business is all but dried up at this point. If you look at Japan, a moped is anything that only goes about 30 kilometers per hour or less than 20 miles per hour. There's e-bikes can go well over 25 miles an hour. So there's really no point in having 50cc motorbikes anymore in Japan. So this is where they're working together. And look, Kawasaki and Suzuki are involved with swappable batteries for these upcoming electrified motorbikes. Will we see swappable batteries for Hondas in the United States? Absolutely not. There's not a market for it, but for Asian markets, especially Japan, it makes a lot of sense to have swappable batteries for electric motorbikes. But what else has Honda been doing? Well, look at the Prologue. The Prologue is not made even by Honda. It's made by General Motors. And Honda just came out with the fuel cell CRV plug-in hybrid thing. It's a nothing burger, right? It's only for California and very limited volume. And in fact, I just don't know why there's still not a plug-in hybrid standard that runs on gas of their CRV here in the United States. We'll have to wait till 2026 where Honda comes out with their next-gen hybrid systems. In the meantime, it's just crickets while Toyota and Hyundai and Kia are kind of just gobbling up that plug-in hybrid market. And this collaboration with General Motors was supposed to produce more affordable EVs. All the way up until 2028, we could have seen new small EVs come out of this partnership. But Honda pretty much decided to scrap that with General Motors. So this Prologue, the ZDX, that's it. Other than the fuel cell collaboration they have going on and maybe Super Cruise collaboration, I don't see Honda and General Motors ever working to get on battery electric vehicles. Why? Well, Honda has other partners they would rather work with, especially from Japan. We have Afeela, which is Sony Honda Mobility. This will be made in the new Ohio EV hub in Marysville. This should come out to the market around the same time the Zero Series Saloon comes out from Honda. And the Acura vehicle on this same platform will come out at the end of 2025. Honda's teaming up with Sony here to take advantage of their expertise in many different things: cameras, sensors, screen technology, video games, streaming technology. I mean, all this extra benefit they're going to have in this vehicle. And I wonder how much of this will filter into the Honda, the Acura that are built on the same assembly line. It's really hard to say. I'm surprised that Honda and Sony are making a car together still. And I don't know why Sony just isn't shelling out exclusive rights to Honda to put into Honda EVs and Acura EVs. That would make more sense to me. But I spent time with this vehicle outside and inside of it in Japan last October. It was very, very impressive, but I really want to drive it. That vehicle's all thanks to another team up, because you can't have a BEV without batteries. And this is where Honda and LG have a joint venture to build a massive battery plant in Ohio. It should be coming online at the end of 2024, and we'll be getting them in EVs as soon as 2025. And Honda could be actually providing batteries from that plant, that LG joint venture, to Nissan. Nissan and Honda are working together. Watch my video on this. This is a newer and it's still evolving agreement. They want to work together to reduce costs on software-defined vehicles and to have a partner in an unsure era where Chinese autos are taking over, especially in their backyard, right? They'll share motors, they'll share batteries. So you could swap a battery from a Rogue to a CR-V, and an Altima to an Accord. You can swap motors from each. The software is going to be pretty much the same between the two. I think one of the more exciting things that could come from this is Honda and Nissan developing hybrid technology together, or at least sharing it. That's what Nissan needs more than anything. They don't need EVs right now. This is kind of looking at the end of the decade and beyond, where EVs are going to be more and more accepted by the public, especially here in the United States. In the near term, Honda could be supplying hybrids, and if hybrid demand is still high by the end of the decade, which I think it will be, and going forward, they could be building next generation hybrid systems together or sharing parts, so hybrids are even cheaper. Here's another Honda team up, and Toyota's finally on the list now. Toyota is the latest company to join IONNA, which is an EV charging network. They want to have 30,000 high-powered rechargeries. That's a new word. It's a recharger. It's like a fisheries. With an all-new charging experience. They're going to have a market, restaurants, retail places at this sort of charging station network, and super fast charging up to around 600 kilowatts from what I'm hearing. So Honda's in deep with that. They're also building up a new supply chain in Ontario. We mentioned the EV hub in Ohio, but that's like maybe a third of the EVs potentially, because most of them will be coming from Ontario, where they're teaming up and having joint ventures with two more companies, Posco Future M and AsahiKasei Corporation. They're working together with both of those companies to build their own supply chain network in Canada. We're seeing potentially 240,000 EVs come out of the EV battery plant, and production will begin in 2028. So EV production in Ohio starts at the end of 2025. EV production in Canada starts in 2028 for Honda. This EV plant will have a capacity of 36 gigawatt hours per year. The battery plant with LG in Ohio will be producing 40 gigawatt hours per year. And Honda still wants to be battery electric, or just a sprinkling a fuel cell in there as well by 2040. I mean, they're making the big moves to get there, teaming up with unlikely partners. And it's not just partners from Japan, it's partners even from Korea with LG, but they're Sony, they're Nissan, they're Yamaha. It's getting hard to keep track of, to be honest. Now, F1's totally different. They've been teaming up with people in F1 for a long time, from McLaren to Red Bull, and now will be Aston Martin in 2026. And we're just going to end on this. This isn't Honda or Acura really teaming up with anyone other than them working with external suppliers to provide some amazing upgrades for the Integra Type S, with Honda racing that next step above Type S. You could say this transforms it into the elusive Type R in a lot of ways. Now, they use Recaro seats, which is quite interesting because Recaro just went bankrupt, but those carbon fiber seats look amazing. We have like a carbon fiber tub that replaces the rear seats with this structural brace back here. I mean, the hood looks awesome. Like, this thing is in something straight out of Need for Speed Underground, and it looks absolutely incredible, but it's all performance. It's not just there to look cool, which it does, but all this is to add performance, reduce weight, improve cooling, improve grip, etc., etc., etc. So the thing is here, Honda has not, and Acura for that matter, has not doubled down on providing these upgrades. They're saying it's a potential new street and track focused performance parts from Honda Racing Corp. I think people would absolutely lose their minds to have this available to them, and also available if they want to go that next step on the Type R for the Honda lineup too. And if you look at those Recaro seats, a lot of these upgrades, like with the intercooler and oil coolers, why wouldn't they be swappable on a Type R, for example? But the times are changing, and Honda's doing their best to change with the times to make sure they're not left behind in an era of electrification. What do I think about this? Well, I think if things go heavy battery electric, Honda's going to be in a really, really, really good spot. If BEVs don't go anywhere, and they stay maybe 10 to 15% of the market, even by 2030, I don't know how beneficial this is going to be for Honda. They will have hybrids to carry the load to rake in a crazy amount of profit between now and a potential more battery electric future. But one of the greatest things about Honda is their engines. And when you take out Honda's engines, what is Honda left with? Good design, minimalism, good build quality. That's the thing with electrification in general. Electrification levels the playing field, and it's essentially now the companies with the best charging, the best software, and the best user experience is what's going to, and maybe safety and autonomous driving is kind of where the future is headed for these cars. But is that what Honda buyers want? I think a lot of Honda buyers would love to have non-hybrid performance cars stick around, hybrid cars for your daily driver, and then have fully electric or extended range plug-in hybrids to be an option there for the additional niches. But I'll see you guys down below. Is Honda going too hard too fast with battery electrics, with their investment and with their team ups? Will they lose their identity in a future that doesn't have any internal combustion engines by 2040? I'm a little worried for Honda, but it's not just Honda. I'm worried for the entire automobile industry with these huge investments into battery electrics. Will the market be ready to absorb the amount of EVs that these companies will be able to produce by the end of this decade? And I think a lot of that will depend on legislation, but time will tell. It's fun to talk about. Honda's changing for better or for worse. I'll see you guys in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. Smash the like button for more Honda news. And I'd like to see a little bit more of Honda and Yamaha working together other than just really, really slow electric mopeds, which is great. It's great for certain areas, just not necessarily for the United States. Thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.